Hello, this is Tola from Triflow Productions with another Blender quick tip. And in this quick tip, I'm going to show you how you can create a natural looking stone wall in Blender by using the Natural Rock Wall Addon. It's not free, you have to pay for it, it's about $9. Blender has its own native wall builder, but this has a lot more options to it and it has a lot more of a natural look to the wall. The add-on is for Blender 2.8 all the way to 3.5, and I'll leave a link of it below the video so you can download yourself and check it out. I'm using 2.81 myself for this tutorial, and the installation process is still the same. Just go to Edit, Preferences, Install, navigate to where you've downloaded that zip file, click on that zip file, then click on Install Add-on, and let me type in wall. Put a check in the box and it's activated. Now it's not in the tool panel on the right hand side, it's actually in the pop-up. But let's clear all this out. Let's press A on our keyboard and then press delete to get all that cleared out. Then press Shift A, go to Mesh, and then scroll down all the way to Add Natural Wall. Down at the bottom, left click on that, and we have our wall there. Now keep in mind that whenever you import a material like this or a model like this, there's a pop-up menu that's here. If you left click off of your model, this for some reason disappears. That's how Blender seems to be. I don't know why that is. That should have been corrected, but that's still kind of the situation. But make sure you keep your scene the way it is. Don't left click on the wall or anything outside of your wall. Just left click on this pop-up and then you have your options here. Now our wall is laying down flat and want it to be, standing straight up on the x-axis. So on rotation, just click in here and press 90, enter, and our wall is upright now. Now you have a lot of options. This is way more options than the wall generator that's native Blender has. You can change location on the X, Y, or Z here. You can change the word alignment or alignment of your wall up here. Change the rotation on the X, Y, or Z axis. Change the bend degrees with the stones. You can increase the count on the X, Y, or Z. Also make it longer, higher, or thicker. That's what this does. Increase your cell size. You can also increase the subdivisions also, but remember, the higher the subdivisions, it'll look a little bit better, but it'll take longer to render out. You can randomize it on the inner only or on the outer only. You can cause it to bend too. So if you left click or we click in this box here, it causes our rock wall to become an arch, which is cool. You can increase or change the size of the bend here, the radius of it. You can close the bend, and this would be cool if you were wanting to have an architectural build and probably have like a stone walkway, circular one, sitting in the middle of the courtyard. That would work. You can click on here and cause it to be like a dome. So you have several options in terms of the way you want the rock wall to look or lay out. Let's deactivate all this. The dome width, you can increase that. Let's turn this to 1. Left click in there, press 1, enter. And it gets a little bit wider, but that's when we have it in the dome. When we click on the dome, our width becomes more or bigger, which is cool. You can extrude it on when it comes to the height also. You can increase the noise also. If you change this from 0.5 to 1, enter, it looks a little bit rougher, looks a little bit more natural because it's not just flat stones, which looks good. And if you increase the subdivision surfaces, it'll get rid of these little kind of sharp kind of faces here, but it depends on how you want it to look. You can increase the noise, the amplitude also. There's a first noise amplitude and the second noise frequency. You can change all those. Second noise amplitude also. So there's a lot of options here in terms of the way you want your rock layout, rock wall to look in terms of the way it lays out. Increase the brick size and so on and so forth. So there's tons of options in terms of the way you want this to look. The only thing with this is that it doesn't come with textures, but I'll show you how you can apply textures to this rock wall. So let's left click on our model, get rid of the pop-up that gives us more real estate to work with. And let's change our viewport here to cycles. It renders out in Eevee and in cycles, but cycles obviously looks better. So we're going to left click on our render tab here, the render properties, turn from Eevee to cycles, from CPU to GPU, and I'm going to change the world settings also, because right now it's like a dark gray or a light gray, kind of mid gray color. I'm going to turn it from that color to like a bluish sky color. That's my preference. You can turn it on any color you want. So mine's going to be kind of like a bluish sky color. And I'm going to left click and drag to divide my window up. I'm going to click here so I can see what this wall looks like in rendered view. Let me scroll up with my mouse to zoom in. I'm going to turn this window from the 3D viewport to the shader editor. Right now, there's nothing to be seen when it comes to the setup here because we don't have any materials applied to it. I'm going to scroll down to my material tab here. Click on that. Click on new. We have our note setup here. And it's always good to name your texture so you can keep track of it. So left click in there. I'm going to call this rock wall texture. Enter. I'm going to left click on that node set up here, just this one. When it's highlighted white, I think in the newer versions it's highlighted orange. But when it's highlighted white or orange, that means this one's activated, and press Ctrl T on your keyboard. Now if you press Ctrl T and this node setup doesn't appear, that means Node Wrangler isn't activated. So press on Edit, Preferences. Let's get rid of that. Let's type in Node, N-O-D-E. Put a check in the box and it's activated. And right now, we don't want it to be UV unwrapped, we just want it to be a generated texture. I'm going to left click on generated, left click and drag to vector. Turn this from point to texture. I'm going to click on open. I'm going to navigate to where I have textures on my computer, which is, I've made a folder for that myself. Left click on that, I'm going to click on this texture, which is asphalt damage. Left click on that, open image. And there we have a texture applied to our wall. Now it looks a little bit too stretched out. To change that, go to scale. And if you're wondering how I'm moving this window, hold down your middle mouse button and move your mouse. Physically move your mouse around, and I'll move this window around. Zoom in. To zoom in, you scroll up on your mouse wheel. And we're going to do some basic math because Blender does do basic math. So left click, slash, which is divide by 4, enter. Left click, same thing, divided by 4, enter. So now it's at 0.250, which looks better. Looks good from the front, but when we go to the top here, it looks stretched. To fix that, go to flat and turn this to box. And now the texture looks great all around. And that's the Natural Rock Wall texture for Blender. And it's a pretty good add-on. It does lots, gives you a lot of variety, a lot of options to change the way your rock wall looks for a more natural look. And that's today's Blender quick tip. Hope you guys learned something from the tutorial. Hope you guys download it and use it for yourself and check it out. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, adios.